Today, the first leg of the 2022 Triple Crown set to post at 6:57 on Saturday. The 148th run for the Roses taking place in the only place as horse racing again descends upon Churchill Downs. Back in 2020, remember the race was put on hold due to COVID. Then in 2021, a champion marred by controversy. Perhaps this year, we return to the tradition that is the Kentucky Derby. And who better to handicap it than two of the best in the business? Joining us from Churchill Downs, we say hello to Sportsline analyst Michelle Yu, and there he is, a legend in this game and many others, our guy Hammer and Hank Goldberg. Michelle, Hank, a happy holiday first and foremost to you and yours. Let's get out of the gates here with some wisdom before we get to the picks. Michelle, take us through your process on race day. How do you approach this day in horse racing?
Well, it's a very challenging day because normally you wouldn't have A, the number of horses that you have, or B, the quality of horses that you have lining all up in the same race. So I try and look at it by what horse was I impressed by most recently in the prep races, and I try and kind of set those off to the side. And then I look for any horses who maybe didn't run great but had big excuses, and I set those horses off to the side as well. Now, everybody that's left over, I kind of tick through and see, if this horse has been beat by 10 other horses in the field already and I don't have a big excuse for, I just draw a line through them because then I can start to handicap the horses that I think have a chance. Once I've done that and I've gotten my select few on my short list there, then I really start to look at each horse, what they've done, who they've beaten, how their times are, watching their workouts in between, looking at their connections and their running style. As there are 10 speed horses in here, we need to come from behind her or vice versa. So I try and whittle it down from the 20 to the logical and then find the horses that I like.
Well, our cappers do the homework, so you do not have to. So with that in our back pocket, let's get to some picks. Hank, let's begin with a long shot. We know you're dialed in with these trainers all year long. Give us a horse and a jockey, a combination with some longer odds that's worth a look here on Saturday.
Number 7. This is a Japanese horse who I was talking to Shug McGahee, who watched that horse train earlier in the year, and he said that he just works harder than everybody else. He had a dominating performance in the Dubai World Cup. And remember last year, the foreign horses who were in the Derby or Triple Crown races actually ran well. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's time for one, and this one is going to be a decent price, maybe better than decent. And so I like him on top. And by the way, I talked to Wayne Lucas about Secret Oath, who won the Oaks. He said that he's going to analyze the race as he watches it today to make sure he's competitive, but better believe he wants to run that champion in the Preakness. And he that's his favorite race anyway. So I think he's a go, and that's what he told me.
Well, we know the Hammer's always got the inside track on some information. We appreciate the long shot, but for you, Michelle, where do you find that perfect intersection of value and likelihood here on Saturday?
The long shot that I like has been Cyberknife all along. Earlier on, I tabbed him as a futures play at 50-1. Subsequently, saw him win the Arkansas Derby, so his price did drop, and I believe it's 16-1 on the morning line, and I don't know what the price is right now. I haven't walked outside to the actual racetrack yet today, but you're looking at a really great trainer in Brad Cox. Normally, you would not see a Brad Cox in a Grade 1 horse at 16-1. Florent Giroux is going to be aboard. Those two team together at 21%. And he's coming off a win in the Arkansas Derby, where to me, he looked fantastic in that particular race. He is a horse that I feel like has had a lot of talent all along. He's had a hard time mentally putting things together. We've seen him lose races down the lane when it looks like he was clear because he lugs in or out. He runs into other horses. But he got a blinker change and a bit change in his last 2 races. It didn't prevent him from dropping his rider in the post parade in his last race, but I do feel like it helped propel him to a win. Since coming to Churchill Downs, he has been training lights out. That most recent work on April 30th in company with his stablemate Zosos, by the way, I gave it an A+, one of my favorite works of all the horses in the Kentucky Derby. So if he's anything close to his 16 or 20-1, I am all over this. This is the best long shot play for me.
Yeah, last check, 20-1 for Cyberknife. So a couple to circle, no doubt, on our race sheets. As for our concrete answer to the question at hand here, Zandon, likely to be the post-time favorite at 3-1. An inexperienced 3-year-old coming out of gate 10. Michelle, we're looking for your 2-win bet of the day. Who runs the history on Saturday?
I feel like the win bet is going to be very hard. I have been kind of on the Epicenter bandwagon all along, but I do believe now he's going to go off as favorite, and I just have an aversion to favorite, so that kind of dissuades me and makes me want to hunt around. And if he ends up going too low, I will pivot in the last moment and not bet Epicenter to win. I don't want to see him below. I mean, ideally it would have been 4-1, but somewhere in that neighborhood, if he starts dipping too low, knowing that Mattress Mac is going to be putting his $4 million on him, I'll probably go somewhere else. Maybe someone like Cyberknife with just a better price, because I want to hit a horse that's going to pay me a little something.
Well, that is always the goal here, and we appreciate your aversion to favorites here on CBS Sports HQ. Hammer, how do you see it, your pick to win here at the Derby?
Well, like I said, I like the Japanese horse. And I think you talk about a Longshot and a horse that's been training well, and he's proven internationally. Epicenter I do like. I think he has a good chance to win. He's won 4 of his last 5, or he's had 4 first and 1 second in his last 6 starts. Very consistent horse, and he's got the top rider going right now. And I think you have to consider that too. So he's got Rosario on him, and I never leave out Rosario. I don't care what the price is on him. And I took the trainer of the 5 horse, who told me that this is his best chance to ever win a Kentucky Derby. The horse is lightly raced. He's improved in each of his starts, and he's had he's pretty good. I'm talking about Kenny McPeak with side horses. Remember when he won the Belmont with the, what was he, 60-1 shot or more? So I'm going to use those 3 horses in my Exacta box.
Hammer and Hank Goldberg always coming from a point of precedent here. We also need to get an Exacta together, or an exotic that is, for the good folks at home. Michelle, stack a few of your favorites up for a nice plus money return on Saturday.
All right, I'm going to go an Exacta, and I'm going to use multiple horses in each leg. So I'm going to use the 1 Mo Donegal. I think he's going to be coming with a closing kick. Obviously, the 3 Epicenter. Going to go tabbing on the 10 Zandon. Also the 12 Taiba, who's either, I feel like, going to run a winning race, or he's going to run last. And then White Barrio, and then, of course, my boy Cyberknife. I'm going to use those in your first part of your Exacta. Underneath in the second part, I'm going to use all those horses, but I'm also going to include a couple others that I think can run well but not win, including Crown Pride, who you heard Hank talking about. Also the 8 Charge. I think this horse has a lot of upside. He's just light on experience. Want to also include my boy Barber Road in that mix. I think this horse could run well and hit the board. I just don't think he has the right numbers for the W, but he is always coming in late. He is the blue collar horse of the Derby. I'm a big fan of his.
Outstanding stuff across the board. Michelle, Hank, we appreciate the information, and most importantly, enjoy yourselves the day. Here's a look at those picks. Hammer and Hank Goldberg's Longshot. Crown Pride offering you 20-1 value. Michelle on the Longshot like Cyberknife, also at 20-1. Love the name, just from a boneheaded standpoint. Cyberknife, come on now. Got to have a little sprinkle. As for the winner, both of our cappers on Epicenter.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.